Hello, hello. Michelle here. It says we're live. Mandy and I are going live today to talk medical medium. Hi, Mandy. Let me get you on here. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Hi.
Hi.
How are you, Mandy?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. You look nice and bundled up.
It's cold here today. I have a space heater over there too.
Oh.
And I have a light in my phone. So I have a potato for all the radiation.
That's a good idea.
And of course, a cold smoothie as always.
Yes.
And a
I've got,
blue mouse.
I've
I
got,
did not time this well today.
oh, I know. I don't even care. I've got my cucumber apple, and then I've got a partial heavy metal detox smoothie here. I've got the rest of it in the fridge.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How's everyone doing today? Hi, Susan.
Hi, Vivian.
Hi, Vivian. Wonderful to see you guys here. So today, Michelle and I are going to be talking about viruses, the immune system, pathogens, and that whole thing, that whole dance. And we won't mention anything by name, but we'll get to, explaining a little bit about what, in terms of the immune system and, you know.
Okay, what are we not supposed to mention by name?
Oh, I don't want to say it because then it'll get tagged.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, you don't want to, yeah, don't say it by name. Because then you'll draw attention to, we already got drawn attention to by using the word virus.
Right.
There was the little caption that appeared at the bottom, the CDC thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So,
uh,
I haven't even introduced myself. So,
yeah, go ahead.
people who, I mean, a lot of people know us. A lot of people may be new to us and new to Medical Medium. So, my name's Michelle, and I have been following Medical Medium for over 3.5 years now. And I actually made a list today because I never remember everything that I've been healing. So, so I'm going to run through the list real quick, and it's kind of freaky because when you do this and then you look back and you go, oh my gosh, I don't have these symptoms anymore. And I'm still healing some of them. But for the most part, I just feel like a totally different person. And I feel like I'm anti aging, basically.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
I'm assuming I was born with fetal alcohol syndrome because my mother drank a lot of alcohol and smoked cigarettes while she was pregnant with me. And I had, from a very young age, um, I was diagnosed with asthma, chronic asthma, and chronic ear infections, tonsillitis, fibromyalgia, restless leg, brain fog, adrenal fatigue, eye floaters, food allergies, lifelong digestive orders that included nausea, bloating, constipation, stomach ulcers, food allergies. I think I already said that. Endometriosis, diverticulitis, mystery pain and numbness in my extremities, chronic back and shoulder pain, memory loss, blurry vision, shingles, Epstein-Barr virus, streptococcus, post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, depression, and I was even suicidal at times. At the age of 48, which was just 3.5 years ago, I could barely walk at times for no apparent reason. And it was so disturbing and petrifying, really, that that's what promoted me to just search out natural ways to heal because um, there was no logical explanation for it. It just came out of nowhere, and it was terrifying. So that's when I went out searching for natural ways to heal, and I found Medical Medium, and I have been 100% on this lifestyle ever since. I have healed most all of this, and I mean, it's just incredible what can be done. If you're not familiar with Medical Medium, Medical Medium is the combination of Anthony William and Spirit of Compassion. Uh, Anthony is a 6-time New York Times bestselling author, and his latest book is Cleanse to Heal. if you haven't gotten this book yet, please pick it up at Amazon or at your local library for free. It is life-saving. And he's also the originator of the global celery juice movement, where over 300 million people around the world are healing because of celery juice, and his other protocols that you can find in his books. And this is my friend Mandy.
Hi, Michelle. That was wonderful that you made that list today. I've made a list before, but I have no idea where it is. I kind of do know where it is. So hi, everyone. I'm Mandy Palmer. I'm a food and lifestyle success coach, a certified health coach. I've been doing medical medium for, actually, this February will be 4 years. So that's a little easier than counting months.
Yeah.
And ever since I found it and became a health coach, during that time, I've been using it with my clients. And oh wow, more comments. You need to scroll sometimes before you can see
Oh,
me.
I know. I said that in silence. So I didn't interrupt.
Yeah, sorry guys. Hi, Alexandria. Sorry, Alexandra.
Alexandra, hi girl.
And
And Sierra.
hi, Sierra.
I'm so happy to have you with us today.
So some of the things I've healed are IBS, chronic constipation. I have my chronic bloating. You know, it goes on and off. It was great the first year, and then it came back for a little while. And now after this last Advanced 369, it's been so much better. Chemical sensitivities, migraines, vertigo, chronic fatigue, adrenal fatigue, night sweats.
Hi, Julia. I love you too, honey. Sorry, I don't interrupt you anymore.
It's okay. And yeah, so it's been amazing. Lots and lots of healing. I also stick with it 100%. I'm super strict. Michelle is also super strict. You know, we're two people who do not include the no foods. Once we committed, we did not include any of the no foods. And I know that can be really difficult for people sometimes, but I think it's a really necessary part. And here I am already transitioning into our topic.
It's all important. It's all important, Mandy.
Yeah. So our topic today, guys, is viruses in the immune system. And yeah, so starting to go along with that, like, you know, the no foods, what we're calling the no foods is sort of a term adopted by the medical medium community, because he doesn't really call them that. He calls them the troublemaker foods, or he's called them the foods that make life challenging from the first book. He has named the unforgiving four from the second book. So, and viruses are one of those unforgiving four. So yeah, transitioning into viruses and the immune system. I kind of don't know where I want to start.
Yeah, there's a lot of information, and but it's poignant right now because there is a virus going around, and you know there have been viruses going around since we've been alive and before. So you know, talking about the no foods, you know, one of the foods that he says is the absolute worst that feed viruses are eggs, and they used eggs back in the early 1900s in labs to keep viruses alive. And then those viruses somehow got out into the public. So they also used bananas in those labs to kill the viruses. So bananas kill viruses on contact. So there are a lot of natural things that you can do to strengthen your immune system, to fight against getting, you know, these viruses, picking them up. But also if you were to, you know, catch a virus, there are ways that you can kill it off very quickly. And maybe even not even have any symptoms from them. Right.
And Michelle, that information that you had just started talking about the history, was from the Egg radio show, not radio show, the Egg podcast that he recently did on Apple Podcasts. He shared that information because eggs were critical in developing EBV.
Right.
Right. I think EBV was that's the one he was specifically referring to in that one, right?
Right. The Epstein-Barr.
But I think there were others that followed.
Yeah.
So So in terms of, how we think about this with chronic illness is, Michelle and I mentioned so many of the things that we've healed from that are viral in nature. And if you guys follow Medical Medium, you know this, the Epstein-Barr virus. Michelle's talked about her shingles. I have shingles as well, just, in a different way, not as severe. Cytomegalovirus and all the herpes viruses, herpes simplex 1, herpes simplex 2. There's probably more.
Well, there are undiscovered herpes viruses that range from HHV 6 through 16.
Right, I have that one too, HHV6.
And just, to give you a little background, this is all information that comes from a higher spiritual realm, okay? This spirit of compassion works directly for God. And so a lot of information that we share through Medical Medium is not what has been discovered, within our lifetime yet. He says that there are over 60 varieties of Epstein-Barr virus, and there are over 30 varieties of shingles. Those are both viruses, and those are two viruses that unfortunately every single person on the planet is born with, at least one variety. And then over time, as we age, they proliferate and we catch new viruses from other people and in the environment. There are so many things that feed those viruses, which I think we really want to focus on today. Like, what feeds those viruses? How can we strengthen our immune system? Hey, Nicholas. So glad to see you here. I see you just called me. I'm sorry I missed you. And, talk about how we can protect ourselves from all viruses, because they're all basically in the same category. One is not necessarily worse than the other. And there are foods that we can eat to kill those viruses on contact, which is very empowering.
Yes, very empowering. I think that that's one of the reasons I didn't have a lot of fear around what has been happening this year, because through Medical Medium the past few years, I've learned that, there's this dance that happens. We have a viral load. How high is our viral load? How strong is our immune system? How much is our immune system having to battle this viral load? And, there's this relationship that happens. And so the more that we can get this chronic viral load down, the better our immune system has a chance of fighting all of this. So yes, our immune system can attack all of this, but we also need things to strengthen our immune system, which are going to be the zinc sulfate, the micro C, B12, those three. And the B12, if you guys know Medical Medium stuff, that's a combination of adenosylcobalamin and methylcobalamin. That's essential. It's, and yes, I've been free. It always disappears. Yes, I've been free of fear for this virus because of them. Yeah. So when we understand how, definitely calmer with viruses because of the Medical Medium, so grateful. I totally agree, guys. Yeah, it's so essential to, like Michelle said, our self-empowerment and being able to live with this, decreasing our own viral load and strengthening our immune system. Knowing how to do that is essential to our soul right now. It really, really is. There definitely was a time when I got a little fearful, but I got, this stuff is amazing. It really, really is.
Right. So let's talk about like what feeds the viruses, and let's talk about what foods kill the viruses. Because if you don't have the financial resources to stay steadily on supplements that you mentioned, the zinc, the B12, and the micro.
And I didn't even get into antivirals.
Right. There's so much, and not all supplements are created equal. And Maybe Anthony recommends Vimergy.com, Vimergy.com for most all of these supplements because they're clean. the cleanest sources on planet Earth. So, but some of the things that feed viruses, the number one thing he says is eggs, dairy, um, high fat that comes from animal protein, and environmental toxins. So you can help fill in the blanks there, Mandy.
Yeah, you got eggs, dairy, gluten, canola oil, and industrial oils, soy and corn, pork. Pork because it's really high in fat, really, really high in fat. As is lamb, really high in fat. That's on, I don't remember which category it's in Cleanse to Heal, where he lists the 1 through 5 in bonus, but lamb's on there. You got citric acid, natural and artificial, well, not specifically that feed viruses, but I can start getting into the no foods, but we'll stick it with the ones that just feed viruses.
Yeah, DDT, radiation.
Pesticides. Like you said, the environmental stuff that we're up against.
Yeah.
So much of that stuff can feed viruses. And then adrenaline.
Oh, yes.
Our own adrenaline. Stress and adrenaline.
Adrenaline happens in so many different ways. There's a different cocktail of adrenaline that happens for almost every circumstance in our lives. And adrenaline is corrosive to everything it touches. And it is one of the most detrimental things that our own body produces. And, there are a lot of ways to produce adrenaline. Fear in and of itself is, adrenaline causing. And it absolutely breaks down the liver and anything it touches, our bloodstream, our organs. So, I don't necessarily need to talk about faith here, or spiritual strength, but that's one thing that keeps me calm and fearless, and because Mandy and I, hi Achoda, because Mandy and I have been able to experience so many transformations on this lifestyle and have become empowered by it, it creates this confirmation that what we have in our toolbox here because of medical medium is everything that we need. And I just feel very faithful that I am empowered. I believe in God. I believe that everything that we're doing is working for God, and hoping that sharing this information will inspire other people for hope. And it's just, I'm going around the barn here and getting a little deep. So
that's okay. You're talking about the feeling of peace, the feeling of serenity, and you were talking about adrenaline, and so that's the opposite of that. Keeping yourself in this state of peace and trying not to react when something happens, like when something stressful happens, or if even someone just says something triggering to you, keeping yourself on an even keel and not letting the adrenaline take over. And that is going to be one of the strongest things we can do for our immune system, is keeping ourselves in that state. We're not just it's not just the negative. It's not like by doing that, we're not releasing adrenaline, but we're also strengthening our immune system by having these positive emotions going through us. So yes, we can do zinc B12 and the micro C, but also keeping ourselves in this state of gratitude and calm and peace is amazing for our immune system.
Yeah, there are a lot of distractions in the world. There are people, there are family, there are friends, there's all kinds of things coming at us from the media. And it's so easy to just get caught up in the need to um, connect with all of those things that are happening. But if you can find that peaceful grounding place within yourself where you realize that everything that is coming at you is coming from a different source, it's not coming from you, that you have the power to just create that space for yourself. Learn everything that you can about the medical medium lifestyle, read all the books, and empower yourself, because we are magical beings that truly have the power to heal. Everything within our body and the way that it works has a divine intelligence that can truly transform with simple foods, simple foods. So, we are brainwashed from so many different things in our lives from the time we're born. And, we just want to remind you a little bit of your own divinity and empowerment. So you can't list like everything that feeds viruses without creating a little bit of fear, but I think it'd be worthwhile to just kind of mention a few of these, and then go into what really kills viruses, what foods kill viruses. So in Cleanse to Heal here, he's got a list of toxic heavy metals: aluminum, arsenic, barium, cadmium, copper, lead, mercury, nickel, toxic calcium. He's got pharmaceuticals, and I'm not going to list all the types of pharmaceuticals that he's got in here. But
But the pill, if I had to call one out, I would want to call out the pill.
The birth control pill?
The hormones.
Yeah.
That's in that list.
Yeah, and I was on birth control for 24 years before my husband lovingly offered to have a vasectomy. And so I'm sure that I am still cleansing the pill out of my system. And but within such a short time, I mean, I feel like I have transformed so much in my health. So other things that feed viruses are aerosol can air fresheners, cologne and aftershave, conventional cleaning products, conventional hair dye, conventional laundry detergent, fabric softener, and dryer sheets, conventional makeup, conventional scented body lotions, creams, sprays, washes, and deodorants, conventionally scented shampoos, conditioners, gels, and other hair products, dry cleaning chemicals, hairspray, nail chemicals such as polish remover and adhesive, perfume, plug-in air fresheners, scented candles, spray tan, spray bottle air fresheners and mists, and talcum powder. Even if you don't use that stuff, which I know we don't use any of that, you're going to come in contact with it. If you go into a store, if you go into someone else's home. So none of us are free of receiving these toxic chemicals into our bodies. Even the pharmaceuticals, if you're on city water, you can get them through your water, through your food supply. And there is a need to cleanse, even though our body is divinely designed to heal itself. There are things that we can do to help that and really speed up that healing process. So chemical fertilizers, chlorine, DDT, fluoride, fungicides, herbicides, insecticides, larvicides, other pesticides, smoke exposure of any kind, petrochemicals, carpet chemicals, chemical solvents, solutions and agents, diesel, food, dioxins, engine oil and grease, exhaust fumes, gas grills, stoves, ovens, gasoline, kerosene, lacquer, lighter fluid, paint thinner, and plastics. And then the adrenaline that we produce for so many different reasons. You could be an adrenaline junkie. You could be, just getting on a roller coaster, or, skydiving, or general sporting of any kind produces adrenaline. And, that feeds our viruses. It not only corrodes our interior in every area aspect that it touches, but it feeds our viruses. So, and then emotional traumas, adrenaline that's brought on by emotional traumas, if there's any kind of abuse, being ignored, betrayal, broken trust, constant letdown, extreme adrenaline-based sports and activities, family stress, fear, financial stress, having to figure it out from under you, heartbreak, mistreatment, not being heard, not being understood, prolonged of adrenal stress, and unfulfilled promises. Then there's radiation, airplane travel, cell phones and other technological devices, continual atmospheric fallout from past nuclear disasters, CT scans, food and water supply, MRIs, PET scans, X-rays, and then food chemicals that are in a lot of processed foods, aspartame and other artificial sweeteners, citric acid, formaldehyde, monosodium glutamate, which is MSG, natural and artificial flavors, nutritional yeast, preservatives, and alcohol. And that's not really everything, but those are environmental toxins that feed our viruses. And then, if you want to list any more that I missed, or if you want to start talking about like what heals viruses, what heals us from viruses, what kills off the viral load.
I think it's important to note too that there are so many things on that list that can be triggering when you have an underlying viral pathogen and a higher viral load. All of a sudden you can be like, oh, I'm starting to get these symptoms and I don't know what I did. I didn't eat anything. And all it was is that you came into contact with something on that list, whether you walked into a store that had those floating around, the wind blew something into your house and got into your house, or you were outside breathing it in. And, there's so many reasons that can happen. So how can we protect ourselves? How can we knock down this viral load? And how can we protect ourselves from things like the flu in that whole category, infectious disease? So the number one thing to implement, of course, celery juice. Celery juice is amazingly antiviral. It's wonderful for the central nervous system and healing anything neurological. Celery juice is just number one. It's going to flush pathogens out of the gut. It's going to create better hydrochloric acid and bile for digestion. So many things. It's amazing for the brain. And then eating a diet really high in fruit, greens, and vegetables. Those foods are detoxifying. They improve your immune system tremendously. Fruit has all these components that, they're antiviral, antibacterial, they're anti-aging, phytochemicals, all these things we need, and that's what we want flowing through our veins. That's what we want, going up into our liver and knocking this stuff down. That's what we want to do. And that's food. We'll just say that the food's in a nutshell, right? That's what I've given so far. And, there's going to be foods that are more neutral, that aren't necessarily going to be healing, but people do often include, such as beans, lentils, and grains. Grains aren't necessarily going to feed the pathogens directly. What even gluten-free grains, and I'm talking about gluten-free grains like, quinoa, rice, millet. Medical Medium has a lot of recipes with millet. They create some mucus in the body, keeping strep around. And when you have strep around, it's going to be playing with EBV. And so it's good to knock those things down too. It's good to knock those down. The higher raw you are, the more you're cleansing, the more you're going to be going after those viruses. Because the more you cleanse, the more you're cleansing out those favorite foods. Because that whole list that Michelle was talking about, that stuff can stay in your liver. It's not just that we're exposed to it, it comes in and it comes out. A lot of us, our liver is overburdened, our lymphatic system's a little backed up, and that stuff goes in and it a lot of times does not come right out. It's there. You have to cleanse to get that stuff out. And when these viruses are deprived of their favorite foods, then you're not feeding it, they're not able to grow and proliferate. And this is good. You're knocking down the viral load. You're killing them. There's, when we say antiviral, like these properties can really, they'll kill them, especially some of the supplements. So yeah, I forgot where I was going with that. I was going somewhere.
Yeah, the liver is your best friend. The liver has been saving you since you were born. The liver is the number one organ that literally grabs up these things and stores them away for you
Yes.
within itself to protect you. So when the liver heals and it's allowed to let these toxins out, it heals like from the outer layers into the depths of the center of the liver. So that's why it sometimes can take so long to heal certain issues.
Mm-hmm.
And I also want to say that pathogens and viruses are the same thing. Okay.
Pathogens includes bacteria too.
Okay, right. But they're also viruses. So when Anthony talks about chronic illness, he says you only need two things to create chronic illness. That's toxins and pathogens/viruses. Those are the only two things that you need to create chronic illness or some kind of symptom. So, yeah, carry on.
Yeah, I remember what I was going to say now. Thanks. I was going to say that when we knock this load down, that it can sometimes create a flare because the viruses, and Anthony's talked about this in a number of places, the viruses get pissed off and they will leave their safe place to go and scour for food. And then they left their favorite place that's a little deeper, such as deeper into the thyroid, deeper in the liver, deeper in the reproductive system. They come out and they go scouring for food. And this can, as they're scouring, they're pooping, right? They're creating viral byproducts on the way around. So then this can create what we call a flare-up, where you get this recreation of symptoms. And you're saying, oh my gosh, I've been eating so good. I've been following medical medium. I've been doing my celery juice. I've been doing my heaven metal detox smoothie. And, you and I have talked about flare-ups on here before, so I'm not going to go into too much detail here, but, you get these symptoms popping up and you think, what the heck?
Right.
And it makes you feel like you're not doing the right things. And it can make you question your faith in it and your faith in not just medical medium, but faith in fruits and vegetables and their ability to heal your body, faith in natural medicine and herbs. So it makes you question it. So, for those of you that has happened to, stay on course. They left their safe place and they are vulnerable. This is the time when you stick with it. You do more celery juice, you do more antivirals, and you kick their butts.
Yeah, you cleanse that stuff out. You just flush that stuff out. So, and avoid the fats, because
Yes.
the fats, when you eat fat, even if it's healthy plant fat, like, nuts, seeds, avocado even, that fat holds things up in your bloodstream. So you cannot release it. So that's why he is so adamant about lowering or eliminating fats in your diet, to allow those byproducts, those viral byproducts, which can also not only be like, the virus's elimination, but the viral debris from dying off.
Yes, the
Got to
die
get
off.
that stuff out of your system. So, like Mandy said, extra celery juice, all the raw living foods, extra juices in general, extra greens to help flush those out. But avoid the fats. Avoid those fats because they will hold up in your fat cells.
It's such an important topic, is lowering those fats to flush stuff out, to flush that viral debris out. I mean, and in this moment, we're talking about this moment during the flare up, right? And so, you have this flare up and you say, okay, I'm going to add more antivirals. I'm going to increase them. I'm going to do more celery juice. And so you start to kill them. And then your symptoms don't get better just yet because of exactly what you just said. You said the die-off. So we've got this sequence of events that's happening. And then so this die-off is happening, you may be getting more symptoms from this, and you're still thinking, why in the hell do I not feel better yet? And it's because of that. So you have to keep going. You have to keep up with the celery juice. The juices, like you said, you can always cut back on your supplements if the die-off becomes too much. You always have the option to do that. This is really a long-term game, and it's about understanding this dance of, you are your own health practitioner. You are choosing what you eat, and that is medicine. You are choosing your supplements, and that is your medicine. And so you have to get in touch with that intuition, which strengthens with raw food.
Mm-hmm.
Getting in touch with that.
So
Day 29, no fat for me. Next sweat's gone. That's awesome.
Yeah, treating life as a dream. That's Michelle. That's amazing.
So important, the celery juice and lemon water to flush out. Yeah, it really is. Those two things are just key, critical. And I want to go back to Michelle. You brought up the low fat, so I want to visit that a little bit. Hearing Medical Medium talk, reading his stuff for the past few years, he really drills in low fat, but at the same time, he drills into us how much fat can impede our healing. So yes, he says to lower it, and a lot of times we interpret this as eating a little bit of fat every day. And, and Alex, you mentioned, that was you who said you were 29? No, treating life as a dream. You were
Michelle.
almost 30 days fat free. What's their name?
Michelle.
That's Michelle. Okay. So, I think, this is my opinion, guys. I think taking some time to be fat free, whether it's a week, a month, a few days, I think that's going to be more powerful than having fat every night for dinner. That's lowering fat, but also going a few days, a week, a month without fat is going to be tremendous for helping your body flush this stuff out. So if you're in that flare up, or you're in this, maybe you don't even consider it a flare up. Maybe you just have these symptoms that are just persisting. If you haven't tried going fat free for a small period of time, try going fat free. It makes a huge, huge difference in your symptoms.
It really does. And I also want to say, for a little bit of encouragement, because, whether you're eating animal, which all animal is loaded with fat, you can't trust the labels of the amount of fats that they say. Anthony says that all animal, dairy, eggs, they're loaded with fat. And so if you're eating that stuff, just bring it down, eat less, eat it every couple of days. If you're eating healthy plant fats like avocado, nuts and seeds, coconut, stuff like that, just bring those down and try. But anybody can do anything for a week.
Yeah.
When it comes to fat, I just want to say that I know you've been 100% overt fat free for almost 2 years.
22 months on that.
That's amazing. And you inspired me to go fat free. And I've been fat free for about 10 months now. So I just want to say that seems extreme. But when you stop eating fat for just a week, I promise you will not crave it anymore. And if you stop eating fat for a week and then you have some fat, you will feel the heaviness of your system. And you will want to go back to no fat and just see how long you can go. Salt is another thing. Salt.
I'm just laughing because that's how this 2 years thing happened.
Yes.
See how long I can go.
Like, you remember that feeling, right? And
yeah.
And if you are trying to go raw and you are also going fat free for a little while and you feel that craving for fat, eat the steamed potatoes. Eat the steamed potatoes because that can be so satiating, and that can also slow down your detoxing experience a little bit too, without like halting it and holding those toxins up in your system. You can still cleanse by eating a potato.
So you're starting to talk about salt. You went from fat to salt. So go ahead and tell us about salt.
So it actually quite a joyride once you're really ready to heal. Yes. Oh my gosh. I mean, you didn't know you could feel this good, right?
Yeah.
And you just want to keep doing it and keep doing it. So that's what keeps you motivated and on course.
That's why it's easy for us to avoid this.
Yeah.
Like if we weren't feeling good from it, it would be really hard to stay motivated.
Right.
You know, to stay off fat for that long.
Right.
But we noticed big changes. Like when you went off salt, you noticed big changes.
Yes. And I went off salt about 6 months ago. And I did that because Anthony did a live where he said, if you're consuming salt, you are not cleansing. Like you cannot detox. And I was like, what? I'm doing all the things, but salt, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. And I thought, no. I'm not going to like maintain the salt intake for any reason. Because I'm doing all the other work, you know, I want to do all the things. I want to make sure I have every opportunity to feel the best that I can every single day, all the time. So I stopped it. I just cold turkey stopped salt. Salt took me, it was more difficult to quit salt than it was fat. It took me about 2 weeks before I stopped craving the salt. And even though you can use Dulse as a replacement for salt because it's super salty, I didn't use it. I just kind of like wanted to not replace it with anything initially. I just wanted to see if I could kind of get that taste out of my mouth for a period of time. And then now I absolutely enjoy Dulse. You know, I'll eat it, you know, with raw vegetables and fruit. But it's been about 6 months since I've had salt, and I am so far removed from the cravings of salt and fat that honestly, I don't know that I'll ever eat either one again in my life. I mean, isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
But I feel it's because I feel so good. I always, and then, you know, you go raw, you know, for a while, and which is just more beneficial to killing off viruses. And you feel even better. I've gone 40 days raw since I did 4 back-to-back rounds of the Advanced 369 in October. I've just stayed raw. I did have steamed potatoes on the 40th day because I had a little bit of an emotional blow, and they helped in the moment. But I didn't feel guilty because potatoes are so good for you. And then I went right back to raw. But all I've ever wanted was, you know, to like wake up. Alexandra and I were talking about this the other day, waking up every single morning, just raring to go, like really just, you know, seize the day and have that energy and that vibrance. And I have that now. And I'm so grateful for that. Now I know how to do it through experience and through these teachings.
So the reason I actually went back and listened to that live yesterday or the other day because I'm creating a PowerPoint for a program I'm doing.
On the salt?
And yeah, on salt, because I wanted to hear him say those words. And the reason why it pretty much stopped detox, which I don't think he didn't say stop detox, but it's because it's so dehydrating. And once you're dehydrated, you can't detox.
Yeah.
And that's why it pretty much stops detox. So if you're doing high salt foods, you know, any prepared foods or, you know, processed foods or anything like that, even if it's a healthy processed food that's going to have a lot of salt, like that's going to shut down detox. And basically I think there's something about the fat cells I think because it dehydrates the fat cells so much and concentrates it, it makes fat loss really, really hard later.
Yeah, you
He
will.
said that too in the live
Yeah.
about salt.
Another,
So I'm still gonna go back. Like that was one of my favorite live segments that he's ever done. It's something that I love just going back to because I just found it so enlightening.
yeah.
Hold on, you had a question up above. What changes did you notice off salt, Michelle?
What?
What changes did you notice off salt?
Oh, the first week I stopped salt, and I was already fat free, keep in mind. The inflammation in my body, I saw it in my face, I saw it in my every part of my body. Like when you look in the mirror and you can yourself notice from day to day this shrinking effect, this more definition, um, it was just undeniable. And that was the main thing. Uh, the other thing I think was so apparent to me was just I felt more hydrated because I was doing all the juices. You know, I drink 32 ounces of celery juice every day, and you know, and I drink juices on top of that. I drink 3 liters of lemon water, and sometimes it's lemon ginger water. Um, so I felt more hydrated and less dehydrated off salt.
That was the one thing that I noticed. I did it for a month before I got back on. That was the only thing I noticed was I felt more hydrated off salt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alphas Bella, sorry, I'm not saying that. I'm working on with healing Emmy. Have you healed from any specific sickness? If you go back and watch the beginning of this live, once it's reposted, Michelle and I both list a bunch of things that we've healed from, and it's probably not even a complete list, even though she wrote so many things down. So go back and watch that because we say that at the beginning of every single one of our lives, of the live videos of all the things that we've healed.
And power of compassion, Julia. Since I stopped salt, my problem that I had finally healed. It has helped me so much. Yeah.
Awesome.
And I want to talk about caffeine and chocolate and coffee and those things too, because they're 100 times worse than salt. They kind of have
We haven't mentioned antivirals yet.
right.
So let's name a few of our favorite antivirals so far. I got lemon balm, lysine, the Vimergy curcumin is amazing. Very great for inflammation, very antiviral. Cat's claw, another one of AW's favorites. Licorice root, which is also amazing for the adrenals. Those are my top favorites. And then if you're dealing with shingles, lobelia is great. I know you had a lot of success with propolis when
Yes.
you were having your shingles flare.
Well, propolis is magical for anything internal or external. If you want to use it topically or internally, it heals things overnight. It's pretty amazing. Um, I love nettle leaf and red clover and burdock root and like you said, licorice root. I take personally every single day cat's claw, lemon
Me too.
balm. Uh,
So after all these years, those are two that have stayed
mhm.
very consistent with me.
Yeah, mullein, lomatium, lobelia, nettle, um, chaga,
Yes.
chaga mushroom. These are some of my favorites. And yeah,
There's many more that we can be including here.
I know.
But so if you and if you are concerned about viruses in general, garlic. Oh my God, garlic is amazing
Yes.
for pathogens, all pathogens.
Yeah.
And Anthony William has the viral report download. It's a pop-up when you first go to his website, so you'll see that.
Julia, how did you take propolis internally? It is a pretty nasty tasting.
Vivian just says I couldn't tolerate the taste. I'm
Yeah.
wondering if he suggests any capsules.
I just take it, whatever your favorite juice is, like sweet fruit juice, whatever your favorite juice is, just a little bit, and to kind of mask that flavor. I throw the lomatium and the mullein leaf in there also, those tinctures, because they're pretty pungent. Yeah.
I bought Lomasham after I found out what it did in I I don't remember where I heard it, but when everything started happening in March,
Hmm.
I read about Lomasham. I don't know how you were saying it differently. I've been saying Lomasham.
Oh, I call it Lomathium. I don't know.
Lomathium? Is there an H in there? I've never noticed it.
Tium, Lomathium.
Yeah, Tiun.
I don't know.
So it's amazing for the lungs. So when I heard that, I bought it and I've been keeping it on hand. And every single time my husband and I have anything that's like, my husband was feeling some tightness in here at one point. Like there was like this tickle that he had after flying. And so that was one of the herbs that I put in his, his tincture shot. Okay, let's see.
Oh,
Oh,
I
I
thought
found
you said all
that.
propolis. Sorry, I have access to it only access only to raw. Oh, I don't even know. I know that propolis comes from the honeybee, and that's what's used to build their hives. That's what they use to build their hives. But I don't even know what that looks like raw, and I'm a beekeeper, so I need to learn more about that, like how I can extract it for ourselves in that way. But the tincture you can buy on Amazon if you have access to that, Julia. And he has, on his preferred supplements page on his website, those are the best supplements to purchase from because they are the cleanest available.
Mhm. And Vivian says she makes elderberry syrup. It's
Yeah,
delicious.
I do
Yes,
too.
thank you. Elderberry,
Yeah,
amazing. I have some in the fridge right now. Every
I,
time my husband flies, like I douse him with, he has to fly out sometimes. So.
yeah. We grow elderberries, and
Mhm.
I love making elderberry syrup too.
It's so good.
Yeah,
I mean, I would like when I go to take my teaspoon of it, like I just wish that like I could drink more of it.
I know.
I could drink like I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 ounces of it. It's so
Right.
good.
So I just want to reiterate with all the antiviral supplements. Okay, they are always supportive, but just to run down the foods, like if you don't have the financial resources to buy those things, or even just a couple of them, eat the right foods, lower the fats, eat raw living food as much as possible, lots of greens. Um, Lots of celery juice, lots and lots of celery juice. Do the heavy metal detox smoothie. I've got a little bit of it waiting on me here. And, stay hydrated. Make sure that when you're eating this way that you eat every hour and a half to 2 hours to stay hydrated. Hydrated is key. And, don't let those fats or salts or caffeine from coffee dehydrate you and hold those toxins in your body. You've got to flush them out in order to feel better.
Absolutely.
And once you have,
Hydration is critical. It's critical to
yeah,
whether something comes up or not.
yeah, and stay calm. Just trust, that the light always wins, no matter what's going on in the world. The light always wins, and just stay in the light and stay lighthearted, like Anthony says. We are cared for. We are watched over. There's a lot of noise in the world, and we do have the power. We are divinely designed and have the power to transform any kind of health issue.
Hmm. Very well said. That was a great summary too. But that's been my biggest challenge is eating every 90 minutes or so. Yeah, it doesn't have to be anything, crazy. If you're, I don't know if you're out working somewhere, if you're able to stay at home, but a lot of times people have that challenge the most when they aren't at home, when they're at work and they're really busy. And, sometimes people can't eat as often, but even if it's just grabbing a handful of grapes, it doesn't have to be a perfect adrenal snack. It works better when it's a good adrenal snack, mixture of glucose, potassium, and mineral salts. But if it's not, that's okay. Make your next grab some celery. Do what you can. Do your best because it does make a difference. It really, really does. Because when those adrenals are not fed, you're going to have adrenaline pumping, and that's going to feed your viruses. And I know that statement can stress people out, but don't let it. Just nourish yourself as much as you can.
Adrenaline can be addictive too. that feeling of adrenaline in your body, that can be very addictive. And so I know many years ago when I would work all day and not take time to eat or drink, I would kind of like get a rush off of that adrenaline. And it wasn't conscious by any means. I didn't even realize that's what was going on until I read about it. So just do not buy into that.
Mhm. And you mentioned too, you mentioned being hydrated, but you mentioned, being off caffeine. Coffee and caffeine is so, so dehydrating. Even if you are drinking all living water throughout the day, you're drinking lots of celery juice, when you have those components in you dehydrating you, lots of salt, caffeine, lots of fat, those things, alcohol, extremely dehydrating, extremely dehydrating.
Yeah. So it says we have about 3 minutes left. So can you think of anything that we didn't cover? Like, I mean, there's
We
so
just
much.
didn't list healing, we didn't list fruits or vegetables specifically. But, Anthony he does a wonderful job of putting that information out there. You mentioned bananas are amazing. Most all fruit is antiviral. There's going to be some that are more powerful than others. But, like for example, I always like to point out potatoes and sweet potatoes, and winter squash is particularly healing. And I like to single out plantains because there's nothing, Anthony has not put anything out about plantains being healing. So, stick to those healing foods as much as you can, the ones that he calls out that are healing.
Yeah, if he's not talking about it, he's not really promoting it. And there's a reason for every single thing he speaks.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Vivian. Thank you, Nicholas.
Yeah, thanks so much for being here, everyone.
So I'm going to let it time out on its own.
Okay.
Yeah. And so just remember, whatever you're doing, take baby steps, be compassionate with yourself, and try to block out the noise, even if it's from people that love you, that don't think you're eating right. Just try to block out all the noise and do what you intuitively know is helpful for you. Eat more fruits and vegetables, more greens, more celery juice, while you're lowering the fats and the caffeine and the alcohol and all of the, the eggs. Just wean off of that stuff. And, once you start to feel better, you'll just want to stay on course.
And always have something that you're working towards. No matter where you reach with your medical medium protocol, like Michelle, she's been doing it for 3.5 years, and her salt was always one of those things that she wanted to get off. Have that goal. Have something that you're always going to be improving, and start with something. Start with something. Get it down as a habit. Such as eating often, get that down as a habit, and then work towards the other thing, getting off more of the no foods and keeping those out, and just take those steps little by little.
You'll start noticing differences immediately. I mean, really immediately. I mentioned before in the past that the first week on celery juice, I lost 6 inches off my waist, which is insane. It's like the inflammation just went down. And my anxiety levels, which were through the roof, dropped by 70% within the first 4 days. So it's magical stuff. And, that's why hundreds of thousands of people are healing on it.
The first week that I made all these big changes, I got off meat, did celery juice and whatnot. My lymphatic system just cleared. And I felt leaner than I'd ever been. My stomach was flatter than it has ever been. And that was the first week. And then of course my bloating slowly came back as I started to detox. But I was also pale, and I could see, now that I look back and I can identify it, I was really, really highly viral, and I loved it. That first week of just letting the lymphatic system go, letting all that fluid go. I could see how viral I was.
Oh yeah. I,
But that went down quickly. Like that improved within 6 months.
yeah,
Huge,
I
huge.
noticed, when I was 3.5 years ago in so much pain out of nowhere. I also looked in the mirror and I had horrific, deep wrinkles happening, like rapid aging. And my widow's peak was completely white. And I don't color my hair.
You don't.
I don't color my hair.
I have way more gray hair than you do.
I mean, I have silvers. I definitely have silvers, but I mean, my widow's peak is no longer white, and I have not colored my hair. This is a natural response to the lifestyle, this medical medium lifestyle.
I don't know if you can see, you can't really see it on camera, but I've really got like, here's one. But there's so much more like when you're looking at my hair in person, and this is something that I'm watching to get to improve because I mean, I've mentioned you guys like healing my liver. I've been fat free for a really long time because I got a lot of liver stuff going on. I'm 36 and I started getting all this gray hair and Michelle's, I don't know. I don't remember this one is, I know around where you're 50,
I'll be 52 in March.
52 soon. So like for me to have a lot, I don't know if I have more. I can't really tell how much you have, but like if we even if we have about the same, like that just goes to show how much my liver really needs to heal.
Yeah. But everything can be reversed. Everything.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, that's a great example right there. And I've heard of people having moles fall off too.
Yes. Oh, my liver spots on my face, my varicose
Mine,
veins, everything's fading. Everything's fading. And that takes the longest. My eye
I
flush.
had started getting, yeah, I had started getting a few liver spots over here, and then I noticed that went away like sometime last year.
That's so fun. That's so
I know.
fun.
It's fun to watch these little things. I can't wait for some of my moles to fall off.
I know.
I really hope that happens. I had one removed when I was 9.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
on my back.
I had a big one right here. There's a little hole in it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because it kept growing and like getting bigger and bigger over the years, and then it started to getting painful, and
Mm.
they just removed it, for fear. I mean, they biopsied it. It was fine, but who knows?
Michelle says I'm 52 and feel reverse aging after 3 years on MM. Yeah, that's awesome. And one of my skin tags fell off that's awesome from Cellar Juice.
Oh wow.
Alex, skin tags fell off. I grew a skin tag on one of my sides where I also have a mole. And I don't think that that's a coincidence that I have these things here. That's like, this is the visceral stuff. This is near the liver.
Oh yeah.
So like, I'm waiting for one of these skin tags to fall off, Alex. In my mole. Not one of my skin tags. I think I have like one or two like right next to each other. So. We're so gross too.
Hardly. I mean, we could be talking about some other.
Is it not stopping us at an hour? I feel like it's not stopping us.
It still says live, and it says 104. So I don't know. Does Instagram?
Maybe it lets you go past an hour now.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe they do. I don't know.
Because it says an hour and 4. Yeah, it's letting you go past an hour. Instagram must have changed it. Because I was like, how is this conversation still going?
So this is fun actually. So
Yeah, I know. This is a real fun conversation that's kind of emerged here.
when one of the things that happened with me, and I haven't noticed it in probably about a year, while you're on this lifestyle, you're cleansing all the time, like constantly cleansing, and you're cleansing more as you lower or eliminate fats. You're cleansing more as you stay more hydrated. And some things that happened for me that I've never experienced before were these patches that would show up all up and down my forearms. And it also showed up on my stomach, like a big patch it would come out like a welted red area. And then over the next day or two, it would kind of turn darker brown. And then over time, it would turn kind of gray, and then it would fade away. And so those were dermatoxins that my liver was releasing. And they showed up on the skin, and it's like they broke the skin, and then they left my body.
Mm-hmm.
And Shannon had the same experience, my husband. So it was wild. There's all kinds of detoxing symptoms. My periods were awful, and, and with medical medium, they are normal for the first time in my life. Oh, that's amazing. I love to hear that. Yeah, I mean, I had some horrible periods too when I had my period, and it's what a relief. What a relief. Yeah. So what else?
I mean, we can go ahead and end it.
Yeah, we can.
Thanks so much, everyone, for being here. Like I said, I'm a coach. I do MM stuff, and you can find me at mandypalmer.com. That's MANDI Palmer.com.
My name's Michelle again, and I know that we've not been on in a few weeks, and
it's been a while, and we probably won't be on next week either since it's holiday.
Right. Well, next Thursday I think is Thanksgiving. So I just wanted to say thank you for your patience and thank you for your love and support. We love having you with us. My husband and I have been building our dream home for the past 2 years, and we're trying to move in next month. So, you know, or at least by the end of the year. So that's where I've been just so busy helping him to kind of finish up the house so we can get in there. So thank you for being here with us whenever we do show up, and thank you for being here from Sweden. That's so
Yeah, that's awesome.
And we've got Slovakia, and we've got Malibu. Yeah, wonderful to see you guys. I love you all so much, and I love you, Mandy. And we'll do.
Yeah, thank you all so much for coming. Love you all. Love you, Michelle.
Bye.
Lovely seeing you on here. Bye, everyone.